Throughout Halo's many years as a franchise, Bungie and now 343 have tried various different game modes to accompany the main multiplayer modes of Halo. This has included all sorts of things, like Firefight, Spartan Ops, Warzone, and the topic of this video today, Invasion, along with some other ones. So your first question is probably, why is Arrrash making a video about Invasion in 2020? And honestly, that's a pretty good question. Well, when Reach came out back in 2010, I played a bit of the mode and thought it was alright, but it was never able to truly capture my attention. However, lately, for some odd reason, I have really caught the Invasion bug, and with Reach on PC, I have been playing a ton of it by myself and with my buddies literally whenever I can lately. So for all of you who don't know what Invasion is, I'll just give you a quick description. Basically, in Halo Reach, Bungie attempted their hand at an asymmetrical 6v6 game mode where you would play as Spartans versus Elites on maps that evolve or open up as the game goes on. The way it currently works in the Master Chief Collection is each team takes a turn as the Spartan squad and the Elite squad, and then whoever ends up with the most points wins. Or in semi-often cases, you can end the game in a draw. It depends on the map who is the attacking squad, whether it's the Elites or the Spartans, but to score points, the attacking team must accomplish various objectives depending on that map. These include capturing a point, planting a bomb, or to gain the final point in all the different maps, the attacking team needs to capture the enemy's core by taking it from their base and carrying it to an extraction point on the map. In those cases where you do have to capture a point or plant a bomb, which is only currently on one map in rotation, you'll have two different locations that you can attack, allowing there to be some strategy behind it. Do you full 6 rush a site and hope to have numbers advantage, or do you try and split your resources? Do you send 5 people to one site and have one guy kind of try and sneak into the other site to put in some time? There's all sorts of different strategies that you can do in Invasion, and it's one of the reasons that the mode is so fun. Each round consists of 3 stages, assuming the defending team does not stop the attacking team, and as you progress through those stages, more and more of the map opens up, along with unlocking more loadouts to choose from, along with more vehicle and power weapon spawns. This adds a lot of fun to the game mode as it gets progressively more and more intense as the game goes on. During round 1 or the first stage of the game, the weapon choices are pretty slim. The Elites can choose from just a Needler or the Plasma Rotator class, and the Spartans get a single AR/pistol class, with each team able to find some needle rifles and DMRs along the map. As you move into the second stage and the third stage though, you get a ton of different loadout options and more vehicles that you can use to combat the enemy. If you want to spawn in with an armor lock, you can. If you want to spawn in with hologram and a sword, you can. There's all sorts of different options that you can pick from as the game progresses. The game mode also utilizes a squad spawn system where every round you're paired up with one of your teammates and you're able to directly spawn on this teammate as long as they're not in combat. This is super important as a clutch respawn can make a push successful, or on the defensive side can stop a push dead in its track. Working with your spawn mate to make sure that you're utilizing the respawn mechanic as much as possible is key, as you can get right back into action instead of having to trek all the way from spawn. I would say this mechanic in general is more important on offense, but there are definitely moments where respawns can make the difference on defense. So that's kind of the gist of Invasion. There's a lot more to it, and I could spend a lot more time breaking down Halo Reach's iteration of the game mode, but that's not really the point of this video, and those videos already probably exist since the game mode has been around for so long. The point of this video though is to talk about why I find Invasion so fun, and why it should return in Halo Infinite. If you follow the channel much or ever watch my streams, you'll know that I despise Bloom, and Vanilla Reach's Bloom, which is the settings that Invasion plays under in the Master Chief Collection, are absolutely atrocious. Despite that though, it is still one of the game modes that I'm having the most fun playing, and this is even after Halo 3 has released, which is my favorite game of all time. That combination of the match evolving as you go and using some strategy with your teammates is just extremely fun and keeps every game pretty fresh. There's nothing better than capping a point with 1 second left in the round, or stopping an enemy's push right before they plant the bomb. Invasion has extremely hype moments that any player, whether they're a casual or competitive player, can identify and enjoy. Invasion is a game mode that I would say is extremely fun for a lot of the same reasons that Big Team Battle is fun, and that is you can usually just hop in and chill with your friends and have a good time, or you can play by yourself and have a good time. Sure, you can sweat it out if you want, and there are teams that do, but the game mode just plays really well for a nighttime game session with all your buddies. The asymmetric gameplay also really spices things up, because while it can be frustrating at times to be stuck as a certain side and not have access to the other side's weaponry off spawn, it adds a unique style of gameplay that we don't get anywhere else in Halo. Sure, we have all the different weapons available to us in multiplayer, but it's never just Covenant vs UNSC or Prometheans vs Covenant like it would be in Invasion. In Invasion, you only are able to spawn with your faction's weaponry, which makes it totally different. While we don't know all the factions that will be in Halo Infinite, obviously we know that the UNSC is going to be there along with the Banished. Think how fun it would be if we saw something like the Prometheans, and then depending on the map you would play as different factions. This would make the gameplay really varied, and as long as it's relatively balanced, it would be pretty fun. You could have maps where sometimes the defending team is the brutes, and you could have other maps where sometimes the defending team is the elites, or maybe the elites are attacking the Spartans on a map. There's all sorts of different permutations there that you can take, and it would just lead to a lot of varied gameplay along the different maps. One nice thing is that the way that the scoring system currently works is that even if a side is more favored on a certain map, you switch sides halfway through, similar to something like CSGO. So in CSGO, where there are maps that are clearly CT or T sided, in Invasion you can have maps that are Spartan sided or maps that are really elite sided, and that's fine because both teams have to play each side. I would say that Invasion is one of the best ancillary game modes that Halo has given us. It is unique enough to make it worth playing over something like Big Team Battle, while also retaining enough of the Halo identity that is relatively easy to pick up and play. Unlike modes like Warzone, which were extremely annoying to play at times due to the rec pack system, Invasion presented its gameplay in the same ways regular Halo modes do. You just spawn in and shoot some shit, and that is what Halo is all about. It even does a good job of incorporating map control elements, as there are some power weapons and vehicle spawns that you can control. Although caveat here, not all of them are controllable, as some of them do spawn in the bases. To me, this was such a better way of doing this than just having players spawn in with whatever power weapons they want to spawn in with. Invasion presents a controlled chaos, unlike Warzone, which could just turn into a high tier rec spam off. 343 could even incorporate some of the PvE elements of Warzone into Invasion in Halo Infinite if they wanted to. Warzone in a lot of cases used similar style objectives, it just relied heavily upon that rec system instead of the hybrid set loadout and weapon pickup system that Invasion used. Due to those similarities, I do think that you could incorporate some of those PvE mechanics into the game mode and it would still be fun. You could even have some maps that had PvE elements, and then have other maps that didn't have any of the PvE elements on it, which could lead to even more variety. OG Halo Reach on the 360 also had a game mode called Invasion Slayer, which wasn't all that special or amazing, but I feel I should at least mention it. It still had the asymmetrical Spartan vs Elite gameplay, but instead of fighting over objectives, it was just Slayer. Not a terrible mode by any means, but in my opinion, inferior to regular Invasion. Anyways, that's gonna do it for the video. I've just been playing a ton of Invasion lately, and I figured with all the fun that I was having, I should at least make a video about the mode. Let me know what you think of Invasion, or if there are other games you would rather see return in Halo Infinite. As always, if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. If you want to chat with me live or just ask me random questions, you can catch me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/Arrrash with 3 Rs, and if that isn't enough me for you, you can also follow me on Twitter at Arrrash with 4 Rs. With that said, I'll see you all next time.